Alrighty, we're out on the XR400 today. Yesterday was a pretty nice day. First day in the 80s. You know, I think it's still considered winter time. Next week is supposed to be cold again. 40s, 50s. So I didn't have the XR ready to go for a ride because I haven't ridden her in a while. And worked on her yesterday. I was actually gonna pack her up for camping and go out and pitch a tent, but yeah, just not prepared yet, getting stuff together, and I had to got ready to leave this morning and had to adjust the clutch. I put a new clutch cable in last time, and I guess I didn't adjust it all the way. So that didn't take long, but you know, I was already dressed and ready to go, so anyway, we'll keep you informed later. All right. We're just leaving Buckland Station. Come on, guys, get off the road. Hey, come on. Those little guys just laying in the road. I'm not chasing you. I keep forgetting my camera's on, but like I mentioned a while ago, I haven't ridden this bike in a while, and when I stopped to open the gate back there, I noticed fuel puking out my overflow tube. So it might be using more gas. I mean, I've got extra gas with me, but if it's puking gas, I may not have enough gas to get the Tonopah if I wanted to go that far. You know, I usually get over 50 miles a gallon, but at least 50 miles a gallon. I brought my smaller gas can, which is like 3/4 of a gallon. I've got a bigger one. I probably should have brought that. That's like a gallon, 1.1 gallons. But what I might do up here is when I get to the highway, it's 20 miles to a gas station in Fallon. I might ride over there and fill up and make sure I'm getting close to 50 miles a gallon. You know, I've already gone 38 miles, 37, 38 miles, and that would be less than a gallon used, but it actually looked like there was more than a gallon less of gas in my tank here. It was down about that far. So I don't see it puking gas now. Okay, which one's the right one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay, guys. You know, but I went 30 miles puking gas, so hard to say. My Husky now gets better gas mileage than the Honda. But the Honda, you know, it's carbureted. Alright. Well, there's some antelope. I always catch them running away, so can't see them very well, but they came across here and right up there. The camera takes a minute to turn on, so I miss them. I miss them half the time. Nowadays, you see more antelope out here than you do deer. Now, if I go to Fallon to the gas station, you know, that's going to be an hour's worth of time out of the way. You know, about 20 minutes over to the gas station and 20 minutes back to the dirt road, so I think it stopped puking gas, but you know, it might have been puking gas for 30 miles, so that could be a half a gallon of gas, I don't know. Oh, good, somebody brought their TV out here to shoot up. Isn't that nice? Yep. There we go, we got cows resting at the Biden mansion. Cow moves. Move out of the road. Okay, so again, we're out here at Top Gun Drag Strip. Fallon's over there. You can see it off in the distance. So, this gas can is about 3/4 of a gallon. Not quite a gallon. We should have used up 1 gallon of gas. So, I'm going to go ahead and put this gas in the tank and see how close it gets to the top of the fill hole. It should be around here, baby. And that'll determine if I'm going to ride into Fallon and check what kind of gas mileage I'm getting, because I usually get 50 miles a gallon. I mean, I've gotten as bad as 40. I've gotten as bad as 40 before. I'm not hammering the throttle, you know, I'm just kind of cruising along gently. But it was puking gas when I was opening that gate back there. It was puking gas out the overflow tube while it was running. Wasn't pouring gas, but it was puking gas, so. But, you know, if it was puking gas for 30 miles, that could be a half a gallon of gas. I mean, I think my gas is about right here somewhere. Doesn't look too bad. So, this is going to determine whether I go towards Fallon or we keep going. Don't know if there'll be a gas station open in Gabbs. With this extra gas, I should be able to have no problem getting into Tonopah if I decide to do that. You know, I just haven't really decided when I go on these rides. I'm like, what do I want to do? Looks like I'm okay on gas. You know, I used about a gallon. This didn't fill it up because this is 3/4 of a gallon. So it looks like I'm in the high 40s or 50s. Maybe I got my 50 miles a gallon, which I should have. So it looks like I'm okay. All right, you should know if you don't know. If you don't know. We're coming up to 5 miles of sand. That's my favorite part out here. But, you know, we're on the XR. And I'm going to be taking it easy. She would do a lot better with the tire pressure down because I think I have 15 pounds in each, but I don't have tubeless in the XR, and I definitely don't want any pinch flats on rocks. And with that said, that kind of means I'm not going to lower the tire pressure. She's running cool, about 175 degrees. In the summer, she gets up to about 225. 73 degrees. Okay. Who knows? I might have to stop and lower the tire pressure. I don't know. Woo! I'm just taking it easy today. Chug. That front wheel's pushing. Okay, cows, don't run across the road. Yep. Oh boy. Come on, get out of the road. Beep beep. Here comes some deep sand, maybe. Woo! The rocky area. Yeah. All right, so yeah, so the temperature went from 175 on the engine to 220. Okay, so you know, pulling that sand is pulling that sand puts a load on it. Should cool down here again, hopefully. So I think on my Vegas video, I think when I got to this point, it was like 92 degrees or something already, maybe hotter. Right now, we're at 75. It's what it says on my thermometer, but don't know how accurate that is. It feels like 75. It feels like 75. So it'll probably get to 80 today. Let's see if the bike could cool off here. Alright, so one of my favorite spots also on this ride, because you can see over towards Hawthorne and beyond. Yeah, Hawthorne's like over those mountains right there. Gabbs is through those mountains back over there. And yeah, you know, this is part of the Vegas to Reno race course. This is going to get totally tore up big time, this hill right here. I mean, it's always kind of rough. I don't go down that very fast. But after trophy trucks and motorcycles come up, that is going to be, it's going to be tore up. And, you know, other than seeping a little bit of oil, which I expected from my last mechanic, didn't do a very good job putting it back together. But anyway, I think she seems to be doing good. She's been on this route probably 50 times or more. Yep. Alrighty, we're going to let her cool off because she got up over 200, which isn't bad. She probably got up to 220. You know, in the summertime, she'll get up to 250 or so. It was 75 down there when I opened the gate after the sand. It's about 74 now, maybe. A little bit cooler here, it feels like. We're on top of this mountain. We're on the mountaintop. Alrighty. down. Yep. I think someday this summer and who knows, that road might just go to the mine on the backside, but I'm hoping it goes out through there and over by Schurz. You know, there's a power line. I can't see a road from here, but this road kind of heads over that direction. But maybe this summer we're just going to come out here and explore with some camping gear. I won't be in a hurry for anything. Just ride around and check some of these roads out. So if you go back through my videos and you look for a video, it's on this motorcycle and it says it says 130 miles on a flat tire. So I was riding this bike pretty aggressively, probably spinning the tire up these hills, and it was right in here somewhere where I picked up an old nail. I mean an old nail. It looked like a square nail. But I picked up an old nail and it gave me a flat tire, and I thought I was going to get it fixed in Hawthorne. I think it was a Saturday. I don't even know if they have a motorcycle shop, but after I got to Hawthorne, I'm like, yeah, I just got to ride it home. So I rode it home from here. It's about 130 miles from here to Dayton, approximately. You know, I use tubeless most of the time. I used to have tubeless on this bike, but the rims are so bent up that it seeped air all the time. Still worth having tubeless in it. You know, you just gotta put air in your tires. But I run tubeless in the Husqvarna and the gas. But anyway, here's a washout. These rollers are pretty fun, as long as you know there's no washouts. I don't think it rained since I was out here a week ago, so it should be safe. Woo! Wow! Roller coaster! those rollers at about 70, boy, it gives you an adrenaline rush like you won't believe. But yeah, you're just hoping and praying. Woo! There's no rocks or something in the road like that one. Because it's happened before. I came over one of those and there's a big rock right in the middle. You're like, okay. That's why I don't ride these as fast as I want to. Just never know. Changes from day to day. Well, I see one little cloud over there. It was supposed to be, according to the weather report, was supposed to be overhead clouds, what they said, but I'm glad there's not. There's one little cloud, one lone cloud so far. And I thought it was when I went through the gate before the when I went through the gate after the sand, you know, it was 75 there, and I thought, yeah, it's probably going to get up to 80, but the temperature really hasn't changed, which is good. Nothing wrong with 75. You know, it's probably the perfect temperature. 75 or 80 is probably the most perfect temperature to be out here in the desert. Too much fun, man. You can't replace this. You can't do it. It's too awesome. All right. Okie doke. You know, I always call this the missile silo. Missile silo. Yeah, the first time I saw it, I didn't know if it was a plane wreck or... It's pretty cool. Gotta be careful though. I probably could pick up nails out here. Yep. Alright. The bike's just under 200 degrees. And it looks like it's 79 degrees on temperature. And I think it's high noon. We still have a shadow. Yep, there's a big old bird nest up in the top. Alrighty. I didn't want to ride over here, all this glass. I think it's a party spot for maybe Hawthorne or... I don't think Gab's high school would come... Oh, who knows? Could be a party spot for high school kids. Well, she's looking pretty good. She's always a good girl. You know, if you leave these bikes in stock configuration, they'll go forever. I bored this one out to a 440, and that was, man, I loved it. Bored it to a 440, put a stage 2 cam in it, and a pumper carb. Well, it blew up, and so now it's back to the stock piston, the original piston, and still has the stage 2 and a pumper carb, which makes it run good. That's probably what I should have did to begin with and not messed around with going up to a 440, but it was fun as a 440. Alrighty, so I think it's getting ready to start. It'll be about, I think it's about 2 miles of sand. There is one section that is kind of deep. Might not even be 2 miles, but I think it's going to start right here. It's probably, might only be a mile. Let's see, 9:47. Let's see how it's going to be. And there's rocks in it, a couple of them, rocks just sticking up in the sand. About 2 miles. So Well, this is the first time forever that they've had a fence across here. You know, you're always tempted to do this hill climb. Well, it looks like my camera batteries are getting old. You know, I'll probably only videotape for 20 minutes or something, and the battery's dead. So anyway, you can see over there, that's Gabs. And maybe they'll have gas, I hope. You know, maybe Lee was working on it last year. Maybe he got it fixed. Maybe they're open. Here. Gets a bit sandy in places. Well, looks like maybe no gas today. Alright, so we're here in Gabs at R&D's Bar and Grill. You usually have to come here to get the owner to get you gas, but doesn't look like I'm getting gas today, so we're going to be heading to Tonopah. Yep. Talk to you soon. So I usually take that road right there and weave. This is more of a straight road, but I think I took this road before and it was pretty tore up. So anyway, we're going to try it this time. We're going to try it out, see what we get. I don't know, it might be the power line road that I want to be on, but that's pretty sandy, I think. Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's the power line road or this one next to it that I'm supposed to be on, but I remember taking this before, and that was kind of bad. I don't know. Yeah. And it looks like someone's coming down this road. I don't know. Yeah, I think I should have just stayed on my road over there. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think this is what I remembered from before. It's just kind of tore up. Whoop-de-doos. It is sandy. I don't care so much about sand. Of course, I like sand with my tire pressure lowered. But you know, my other road over there to the right, it's kind of a windy road. Yeah. But it's probably faster than this one. Should have stayed on my road. Looks like someone's coming down this road. Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to get back. Just get back to what I'm used to. Alright, so we got like 20 miles left. You might be able to see Tonopah off in the distance there, where those hills are. Usually this is pretty sandy right up here where the two roads join. We'll see what it looks like. You know, I always evaluate the section for the 790, but this road, you know, the worst part is right in here. I call it the beginning, but there's might be a very sandy, silty section. You know, I don't care about sand, but that's part of the race course. It can get really silty up here. Maybe coming up, but I thought we would have already gotten to it. So that's how the desert changes. Sometimes it's really bad, sometimes it's not so bad. So anyway, yep, approximately 20 miles left. Okay, so we got some wild horses out here. They don't act like Dayton horses, though. There's a baby. These guys are scared of the motorcycle. They don't do that in Dayton. They're like, I don't care. Whoa! shit. Dude. What the fuck? Sorry, what the frick? Crap, dude. Would it taken my head off or taken me off the bike? That was crazy. Gee. You know, I'm watching the trail, not the telephone poles. Just barely saw that thing hanging there. Like crap, man. Okay, there'll be a road cutting over here pretty soon. Hey, Jeep, watch what you're doing. Yeah, I think this is it. You used to be able to go right into town across from the gas station, but they blocked it off, so they must have got mad at me. You know, they got mad at me for coming here once every 6 months. It went through an old part of the mining town, the old mining buildings, so you drove through that. Kind of cool. Hey, come on. I might have been able to go down a little farther, but yeah. Well, I don't think I've been to this gas pump before. This is their newer one. Alright, I wonder if they have vacancy at the Clown Motel. Too funny. Yeah, if I got a room here, I'd be the only clown here. Hey, I told you I knew where I was. Yes, sir. Yep. All right, Goldfield. Oh, they're open. Yeah, Goldfield, Nevada. Yeah, I want to buy a little house here and one of these little houses and Airbnb it. You know, one of those. Look at that one right there. This one's been vacant forever. You know, but you can get houses here for cheap. Cheap. You know, cheap houses. Gotta love the Nevada desert. Just a place to dump all kinds of stuff. Oh my goodness. If you're gonna plant a tree, plant a car tree. International Car Forest. Let's see how much it's changed. It's cool when they bring new stuff in here, but sometimes they just tear up stuff. Okay, well, I guess I'm recording. I don't know if I was recording for an hour back there. Seemed like maybe I was, but we're heading to Gold Point up there in the hills. Alrighty. Alright, we're in Gold Point. Alright, so we're at Gold Point, Nevada. Yep. I don't really have any cell signal here, so hallelujah. Gold Point, Nevada has some pretty cool stuff. I came from that plateau way out in the distance, the backside of that. Nice old fire truck. And a bar up there. I think it's closed. Walt's probably at home. So anyway, we're gonna get on getting on. Yeah, I really love this rock formation. Pretty awesome. Yep, well, we're on the mountaintop from Gold Point and above Hard Luck Castle. Yeah. There's the castle. Hard Luck Castle. Yep. Alright, just driving down through these yuccas and watching for transmission rocks. Yeah, this road wants you to go really fast, but there's big rocks in it. Big ones that will take your front wheel out. Toot-toot-tootling along, toot-toot-toot, toot-toot-tootling along, whoa, whoa. just like that. Yeah, so we got to get down the road here, but this is a trailer bed that did its last trip. This is where it ended up. I guess it broke its axle, so it's going to read the sundial, but got to have some sun for that. Alrighty. Well, I don't know. We're probably like 45 miles from Beatty. Alright, Hard Luck Castle. Yeah, just moseying along. Lots of washouts on this road. Some really bad. They drop off like 1.5 feet. All of a sudden. It'll probably be worse coming back this way because kind of like that. There's been some worse ones going a little bit too fast. Haven't hit any really bad. One kind of jerked me around, but you know, it's kind of like smooth like this, and then they just come up to a washout area. So it begs you to go faster, and then bam! Bam! That's what I'm saying, bam! Alright, entering Death Valley. Alrighty, we're entering Death Valley. National Park. Woohoo! Yep. Well, this jackrabbit's been running with me for about 10 minutes. So maybe he'll run all the way to Beatty. Starting to get tired. Getting tired. Slowing down. He was going like 30 miles an hour. I don't know, he might want to get a room with me. He'll be all tuckered out. I mean, it's pretty cool. You can have company out here. And there he goes. Yeah, I had a riding partner for like 10 minutes. Woohoo! Alrighty, so we're coming into Beatty. You know, that really wasn't the plan today because I didn't pack for an overnight trip. Speedometer's right on the money. Really, I just wanted to get out and ride. You know, the gas station, if there would have been gas, I could have went down that street. If there would have been gas and gas, I probably would have turned around. I would have turned around and gabbed. But of course, no gas in Gab, so I had to go to Tonopah. And since I was in Tonopah, okay, well, I like staying here. It's probably not the cheapest. That one back there on Main Street was cheapest, but all right, well, we're gonna gas up here and get back out in the dirt. I'm gonna head down the road. I think I saw a different road that might bypass some of the harsh stuff. I'm not sure. Could just be another rocky road, but we'll find out. We'll find out what it looks like. But getting some gas here. I heard a burro this morning, but I didn't see a burro this morning. I missed my burros. Well, we're trying to find a new road that bypasses all those washouts going into Beatty. So just looking at Google Earth, and this is I think there's a ranch back here, but there's a road that should junction off of this, maybe after the corner of the hill over here. It junctions off of this and it goes over to the dry lake bed. So, you know, this is pretty smooth right here. And if it gets on the dry lake bed, that should be pretty smooth. This road started, I'm just going to make a guess because I got 29 miles here, but I drove past this road and had to double back to find it. Because again, my GPS wasn't, I'm using my inReach, and it doesn't give you a track until you've been going for 10 minutes. So, you know, I drove 10 minutes past it is what happened. And then, but anyway, it's like, it's probably like 16 miles approximately. And maybe, well, between 16 and 18 miles outside of Beatty is where this road is. A little bit hard to see from the road. You have to be watching for it. You know, it just kind of drops off the main highway and then there's a gate. It says please close gate. But anyway, usually, now that we come up this hill, you know, usually I'm way over against the base of those hills. And that road is just all washed out. It's just every 20 yards, it's a washout. And it's anywhere from a foot to 2 feet deep washout. Oh wow, there's even a bathroom here. Woo! That's awesome. And I think this is the Yep, so I had a little bit of coffee this morning and a little bit of breakfast. And then I'm checking out this new road to try and bypass some washouts. And I'm like, at some point, you know, you'll have to stop and use the restroom. Well, here's my turn to go that way. And what do you know? Here's an outhouse. So isn't that awesome? It must be, well, that's a blessing, but anyway, it must be a good sign, I would say. Hopefully this road stays decent. It looked good on Google Earth, but that never means anything. So, here we go. Alright, so a new road. Usually I'm over at the base of those mountains. This road's looking pretty good so far. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a poop chute or a shoot show. And it's starting to warm up. You know, there's clouds behind me. There's blue sky in front of me, which is really good because I thought it was going to be overcast all day. Totally overcast in Beatty. And it was even raining, it looked like, to the, here we go, tumbleweeds. So this might get interesting. Huh. Well, it must have been filled with water and then gathered tumbleweeds. But anyway, so now, you know, there's no clouds. Looks like the day is going to end up being better than what the forecast said, so. This road looks like it could be sandy, but that's better than washouts, so. Alrighty. I would venture to say, I could be wrong, but this looks like probably the race course, you know, part of the race course where the trophy trucks and everything come down. You know, after they race this would just be a foot deep of silt. I keep expecting to hit a patch of silt, you know, but like this. You know, that's still, there's grooves there from trucks. There's a lot of grooves here from trucks. But even though that was a little bit soft, it was still pretty crusty. So, if you tried to take this road after the Vegas to Reno race, yeah, this would be a nightmare. Even though that's rough over there by the hills, if you tried to go on this road after the race, yeah, that would be no bueno. You know, it hasn't been hot enough to dry the dirt out real good. You know, it's still pretty crusty. I hit that one spot back there that was grooved up and kind of loose, but for the most part, you know, it's kind of hard packed till you put 200 trophy trucks on it, and motorcycles and quads and UTVs. But this is pretty grooved up with tire tracks, so I think this is the road they come out towards Beatty on. Comes across one section of the dry lake bed out here. That's why I want to take this road. I was hoping it wouldn't be all silt, because silt would be worse than just going 10 miles an hour over there. I can ride sand, no problem, but silt, that's a different trick. I don't know how those guys on their motorcycles go 80, 90 miles an hour through the silt. Pretty crazy. But taking this road out here is probably gonna save me. I mean, I used up that time finding this road. You know, so I mean, I'm not really saving any time, because I used up my save time trying to find this road. But because that road over there is so tore up, you know, I probably would have saved. It almost looks like snow. I just can't be snow though. It's gotta be sodium. But I would have saved at least a half an hour, 45 minutes. You know, because I can maintain 35, 40 miles an hour here, where you're doing 5 and 10 mile an hour over there. Every 20 yards, there was a washout. maybe some people will take their UTVs and stuff over there and kind of smooth it out. The first time I rode that over there 2 or 3 years ago, it had washouts in them, but they were pretty smooth washouts. They weren't all like they are now. You know, some of the washouts have, you know, it's like they're only a foot wide, but they drop off a foot and a half, 2 feet. One of them dropped off like 2 feet. So weird, you know, looking at this. I mean, you'd think it had a snow flurry here last night. Maybe it did. The dirt almost looks wet, but that's just weird. You know, it was 75 degrees. $75 degrees when I went into Beatty, and you know it's 60 something right now, so it's hard to gauge the dirt out here. It feels slippery, and then it feels like sand, and then it's hard packed. Yeah, well, those big areas of silt I was talking about, I found it. I could have probably been safe on the left or the right, but I went down the middle. Almost crashed, yeah. Look at that. I could have went left. I could have went right. Well, I was on the right, but yeah, I got in the thick of it. Once you get caught by silt, man, it is hard to get out. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be able to find the first gear. So, like I said, I was looking for an alternative. I thought I was going to come across the dry lake bed, and that would probably be better than this. This is the race course. This is the road they use for the race course, so what I wanted to do was go all the way across that dry lake bed, so because I'm pretty sure that's smooth, and you know, go from one end of that all the way down and out, because this is not an alternative for the 790. This won't even be a good road to ride on the dirt bike in the summer once it gets nice and hot out here. There you go. I would have stayed all the way to the left. I would have been good, I think. Yeah, here's more. Woohoo! More silt. Yeah, that's why this road's up here. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. It's already like 6 inches deep. That's funny. Yeah, there's a peg back there for the race. See, I just need to come out here with a tent and camp and explore, because I think if you get out on that dry lake bed and go all the way to the other end, it's going to be smooth and fast. Kind of like Black Rock. See that? I mean, really, you should be able to go just like that, all the way across that damn thing. Crap, dude. Wow. See, and that's the road I take right there. So there's got to be a way to go all the way across that dry lake bed. In the old days, you know, before they had, well, they've always had desert races, but, you know, I used to ride a lot, I think, out in the desert before they had Vegas to Reno race, and I never had these issues with silt. Yeah, so there's the grave site, right? I don't think I have a pin. There might be one in here, but glass everywhere. Yep. Bonnie Claire. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, okay. Like I said, I don't know if there's tacks. There's paper. Is there gonna be a pin? No. I didn't know it was this nice in here. I could have just stopped here and slipped in here. Yeah, I know that guy. It's gotta be a pin, right? There's all kinds of paper. Thanks, guys. There's a pen cap. Heck, I didn't know it was this nice inside here. I could have slept on the bench last night. There you go. Here we go. Well, that's pretty cool. I'll leave a pin where somebody can get to it. Okay. Well, it warmed up. It cleared up. There might be clouds when I get closer to Dayton. Hopefully it'll stay warm. So I'll be getting into Dayton in the dark again, probably. Seeping oil. Wish I could find a good mechanic. put your bike together without seeping oil. Boy, you get spoiled with electric start. I'm sure some people drive all the way to Bonnie Claire just so they can shoot bottles and break them all up with their guns. Right? Hard Luck Castle, and it doesn't look big on the video, but it's big. Yeah, it's an Airbnb now, so the guy who built it sold it, and it's an Airbnb, so you can stay there, but I think it's like $2,500 a night. I'm like, yeah. That'd be fun, but not for $2,500. Not for me. A motel room hurts, and the motel rooms keep going up. I was trying to get my camp stuff together in time and go on this trip, but I had to look for stuff, and I'm like, I'm gonna waste away the day if I keep looking for stuff, but all I really needed was my tent and my mattress, and I should have brought that. I could have did that real easy. You know, I was looking for my coffee and, well, I was looking for everything. It's like, nah, I just need a tent and a mattress. That's all I needed. I could have did that real easy, real fast, and then I wouldn't have had to do a motel, and I wouldn't be rushed for time. You know, the only reason why I'm rushed for time is because this is a day trip. If you don't leave, the house by 6, if you're not on the road by 6, you're gonna either get to Dayton in the dark, or you're gonna get to Beatty in the dark. Getting into Dayton in the dark isn't so bad. I know all that terrain, so I know where the rocks are and the trenches and all that, but driving to Beatty in the dark, that was really slow going. Okay, we got about 9 miles left to Gold Point. Gotta climb this hill here. 9 miles. You know, doesn't want to accelerate very much up this hill, but my Husky, because it's got fuel injected, will rip right up this. No problem, we're just tootling along. Tootle, tootle, tootle. Alrighty, so hate to see anybody go up that in the snow. Yeah, that got the bike hot. That's like, yeah. Not too bad. 230 degrees. Huh. Alright, coming down in the Gold Point. A little bit cooler here, you know, but we're elevated. We're gonna be over by that plateau pretty soon. Go around that left-hand side. And I took video of Bonnie Claire, but yeah, I forgot to take pictures. You know, I try to be a multimedia adventure guy, but I forget half the time. It's like, okay, I gotta get going. But that's an interesting, you know, an interesting look. Little house and graveside. And, you know, it makes trips exciting. And I just forgot to post that, so. Anyway. We're at Gold Point. Next destination will be Goldfield. And then Tonopah. I don't know if I'll hit Tonopah by noon. Should be close. Last year when I was out here, Walt was dealing with a big cougar, I guess, killing people's pets and eating them for dinner. So I'll go by the bar here, stop if he's there, but probably not. Alrighty, see ya. We left Gold Point, we're just out here. Cutting across. This is the road Bruce and I were looking for. And we were about 1 mile away from it. We turned a mile before it. We would have went 1 more mile. We would have found this road. But we were trying to come through those mountains over there, through a canyon. And there were, we came to like a 3-foot, we came to like a 3-foot drop off, and we're like, yeah, if we keep going down this, the drop offs could get bigger and worse. And they could have, but we would have come out over there. But this was the road we were looking for. This is the road we were looking for. And my GPS just quit working altogether. You look at this road and it's like, is there any traffic out here? And there you go, there comes a car. Almost every time I come to this road, there's a car coming. Pretty amazing, huh? I should play the lottery. This is it, Bruce, the road that evaded us. It's right there. We were almost to it. If my GPS wouldn't have gone foobar, we were right on the other side of this plateau where we cut through the desert. There's some burros, but not in Beatty. We're in Goldfield. What you doing? They're a bit skittish. Huh. The Dayton horses, they don't care about anything. The wild horses and burros out here, they're all nervous. Not in Beatty, but the wild ones out here. It'd be cool if we had wild burros, and maybe I'll bring a pair of burros to Dayton so we can have wild burros. That'd be cool, huh? Yep. Well, it's 11:15. We should get to Tonopah in 45 minutes. Should. Not that far. Yeah, just working our way on to Tonopah. 11:30. Excited about that, no? Tonopah's solar field. Solar power field. And since I made that joke, and you need to know, yeah, Tonopah has a charging station. It only has one charger, and it was full. Nobody using it, people waiting. Yeah. Haven't convinced me yet. I hope they're making a lot of power from that center. You should see it when it's all lit up. Pretty cool. You can see it for probably 50 miles or more. It's all lit up like prism, yeah. Oh, look at those windstorms. Yes, sir. But the wind's ripping over there in a few places. Been fighting the wind all day. I'm like riding half the speed I usually ride just because my bike, being carbureted, yeah, gets 20 miles less per gallon when you're fighting the wind and got your hand on the throttle trying to make it go. Yeah, that's a lot. 20 miles per gallon less. So I'm just kind of poking along because I really would like to go back the way I came, because it's probably at least an hour shorter. Because Hawthorne's over those hills over there. If I go to Hawthorne, I gotta go out that way. Yeah, it's just about an hour longer, at least an hour. Could be more than an hour. And if I'm getting my normal gas mileage, I would still have over 100 miles left in gas, and that's what I need to get home. Plus I have 3/4 of a gallon on the back. Yeah, a few miles of sand here in slow-mo mode. I'm just checking to see if I got battery left. I will probably record the 5 miles of sand. It's going to be more difficult than usual. Well, I guess the camera's not recording anything I want to record. I pushed it, I saw it doing the red light. I did the 5 miles of sand in the wind, which was really interesting, but no footage of the hill climb, no footage of the 5 miles of sand, no footage. Maybe it's taking a picture of this shit. Cool. Who knows? Shit doesn't do what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it. Anyway, a few miles from the highway here. Alright, well, almost home. I made it on 1 tank of gas, my normal way from Tonopah. All the way on 1 tank of gas. I went on reserve on Fort Churchill Road and drove 10 miles on reserve, which is kind of weird because when I put gas in, I still had 1/10 of a tank left, just like in Tonopah, but I didn't go on reserve in Tonopah. Anyway,